Should we
Let's
start?
get started. Yeah, let's get started.
Oh, let's tell everybody why we decided to do this, because you and I reached out and you had called me when this whole shitstorm fell down. Can I say that while we're being recorded? This
Yes, it's a shit.
shitstorm, this whole shitstorm came down, and you like called me going, how do I do Zoom? And how do I do Vimeo, right? And then we talked, and then we found a common bond, and you're on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast. And we thought that, we could offer something to the community more than just, typing threads on a Facebook page, and share common challenges and what we're doing about it. And I'll just share who I am. I've had this is a picture of our studio that I have in our virtual background. Uh, been in business 18 years. My wife and I started it. So we've got a pretty established community. And when the S storm hit, we were able to pivot virtually. Now, our studio, I'll just say, we're not doing live streaming classes because I know what a cluster F that can be. We're just doing one class a day because in my mind, a student only takes one class a day.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I have to offer more than one class a day? If I can record it and they have it and they can do one every day, that's fine. And my goal was to maintain, I got it signed for something real quick here. My
Right.
goal was to, actually, I don't have to sign. Oh, I do. My goal was to maintain our unlimited monthly membership as best I could. And we've maintained 60% of that. So Nicole, maybe you can share a little bit about you.
So clearly Jim is more adept with technology than I am because this is my actual house. I don't even know how to do the background thing, but I did reach out to him because he was such an early adopter with the online studio and seemed to have it all together. So within that desperate conversation, we, became friendly, and here we are. I'm a Mind Body certified business consultant. So is Jessica, by the way, who happens to be on this call. So maybe she can contribute to this conversation a bit. But, I do have some insights into kind of the bigger picture of what's going on in our industry. So thought that might be a helpful place to share from. But really the purpose of this conversation is just to communicate with each other, share ideas. Maybe some of what y'all are doing is working and it's worth presenting today. So I am doing things a little bit differently than Jim. I am offering the live streams just twice a day. We had 5 or 6 classes a day in the studio, and we've pared it down to 2 for similar reasons. People are home, so they're not necessarily trying to manage going to work and making it to a yoga class, but they're also watching the recordings later online. And what I found to be really interesting is that they're finding the recordings more valuable. We have a group of maybe 15 or 20 regular students who hop on the live streams every day. But we've sold 75 unlimited passes to the online studio. So that tells me one of 2 things. Either they really wanted to support us financially, which is possible, because they're invested in our community, or they're watching the recordings. And so I think that Jim's kind of hitting the nail on the head by, I see all these studios putting pressure on themselves to produce like a full schedule of online classes. And I do understand kind of wanting to support your teachers in that way. But the demand is just not there. So if you can reduce expenses, I think that's really the first place to start with this. And most studios are eating it in payroll anyway. So now is your time. What's everyone doing? Are you doing live streams and recordings, or some sort of hybrid, or not online yet? Where's everyone at?
Can you please elaborate a little bit on what you mean by the demand is just not there when it comes to like live streaming classes?
I just mean that people don't need 10 different class slots, right? Because they're home all day. So now it's not like they're trying to get to the yoga studio after work or before work or whatever. The people who could only practice at 5 a.m. are suddenly free at 9, right? So I just think that if cost is a problem, which for most studios it's a problem right now, if you can find a way to reduce your payroll, that's probably an intelligent move. that help?
Yeah.
How many people, show of hands, have live virtual classes? Everybody. How many have recorded virtual classes? How many have only recorded? No live. Right. So who is that down there? So Heather, why did you choose to do just recorded and not live? And then I want to hear from the live people why you chose to do live and not recorded.
So for me, I just felt super overwhelmed when all this went down. And I couldn't quite wrap my mind around the live stuff right away. And I felt like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself in a way that made me unhealthy and didn't feel like that was a good presentation to give to my students. But I also had to lay off my staff. And so it would have just been me doing it at that point, and I had a million decisions to make and just didn't feel right about it. And so went with the recorded option instead, and that's just been working for us. And at the same time, my teachers that were laid off were doing their own live stuff. So we're out there live, but it's like on them, even though people consider them part of Mudra. So it's part of it, but it's not me doing it. I'm just doing the recorded.
Yeah. And who's doing just live and not recorded? And why did you choose? So Stephen, why are you doing that?
You know, I felt like streaming through the Zoom platform was a lot easier than created pre-recorded content. I'm kind of like that little perfectionist bug in me. I feel like if I just, pre-record content, now I got to go and find, the proper type of equipment, which is doable, but then I got to figure out this equipment. And then once I actually create the content, do I need to upload this into like some video editing software and make the appropriate cuts? Because that's what my mind wants to do. And then now it just took like, instead of a 1 hour Zoom live class, I just spent 3 or 4 hours on a 1 hour pre-recorded video. So
Right.
just out of efficiency, that's the thing. And then at the same time, I am still paying my instructors, and my instructors are still doing these Zoom classes for me as well. And it's one thing if I have to provide my own pre-recorded content. It's a whole other issue if I have to get pre-recorded content from all of my instructors as well, because I don't even know what type of equipment that they're using right now. So it just creates a bunch of different little dilemmas that I wanted to avoid. I know you and your wife are just kind of doing it yourselves, and so it's a little bit easier for you to streamline that.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way. It's just interesting. I want to understand people's thought process behind it. How many live classes do you have, Stephen, that you teach and that other teachers teach? And what's the attendance compared to what it was when you had a in-person class? I mean, how has that changed? And how many are you doing a week?
So I'm actually teaching I'm hosting 5 classes a day, Monday through Friday through Zoom, and 3 classes on Saturday, 3 classes on Sunday. I have about 17 teachers that teach for me. And right now not everyone is teaching for me on this digital platform. But at the same time, I have a very large demographic. I have a bunch of different type of practitioners that come to my studio. I teach more powerful flow style or powerful hatha style classes. And then I have a lot of people in my community that like some gentle offerings that some of my other teachers provide. And so,
yeah. What's attendance like in these online classes? Are they like 20 people, 50, 3?
No, so it just depends upon the time. Like our Saturday class is pretty popular, but typically we have about 5 to 10 people in our classes. And then it all kind of depends upon the time as well. A lot of people were saying that they would enjoy 6 a.m. or early morning classes. And then I threw I am running a 6 a.m. early morning class right now, but it's actually getting low attendance, like 2 or 3 people a day.
Right. And how are you charging them? Are they buying per class, or are they staying on your like unlimited monthly from your membership from your original?
So my unlimited monthly membership used to be $90, which in my part of Texas is actually a really good deal for an unlimited monthly membership. Right. And then I got about probably half of my members ended up canceling their membership because they either lost their job or got their hours cut.
Yeah, right.
And then so to stop the bleeding, I actually reduced my monthly membership fee to $45, and nobody's canceled since then. I'm actually not paying rent right now. My landlords have allowed me to defer my payments right now and kind of just throw those on the back end of my lease.
Yeah.
And then so I'm not using that money to pay rent. I'm just kind of paying my teachers right now. and just trying to, stay floating, keep it moving.
Good. Nicole, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I do. I want to kind of touch on this idea about like the production that keeps coming up over and over again. I'm going to say two really lazy things right now. One of them is that I really haven't worried much at all about how professional the classes look and sound. I mean, of course, if something really terrible happens, like we've had a few instances where like my dog started barking in the middle of class and I've had to cut it out, or like we had a teacher with a kid crawling all over her. I'm like, okay, we can't use this. But for the most part, they've been okay. And I think our clients aren't expecting their small hometown yoga studio to produce
100%.
slick video that's edited perfectly. They know, they're really smart, right? Like they know they can find yoga online that's beautifully produced for free, but they're choosing us because they have an emotional investment in our businesses and they want to see us succeed. So I think if you can approach it from that angle, all this stuff about having to have like a fancy microphone and perfect lighting and all this sort of fades away. As long as it works, as long as they get the content, I don't think it really matters how perfect it is, if that's helpful. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I've decided only to charge an unlimited price for online access, which wraps the whole thing into one. First of all, because it's just easier to manage. I don't have to be like sending out Zoom links for every time somebody enrolls in a class, but it also allows me to, I know exactly what's coming in from the online studio. So I know exactly what I can afford to pay out to my instructors. So instead of worrying about, oh, there were only 2, 3, 5, 10 people in class, it's already been paid for. And that's been sort of a stress reliever for me too.
Great.
Question.
Go ahead, Ruby.
So I just wanted to share, first of all, thank you guys for doing this. It's really cool to see some of your faces because I'm in some Facebook groups with you all and I've never really got to touch base with you. So it's really cool to see all of you. And I think that we should all give everybody just a little pat on the back, ourselves included, for, like I think somebody had said it before, we all created new business plans pretty much overnight to be able to support our community and continue to do what we're doing. So good for you guys. Keep up the awesome work. Our small studio, we're in Dover, Delaware, so we're really small. We have less than 100 students. And for the most part, we have everybody on auto pay unlimited. And we had a few people that chose to pause their membership until we reconnect physically. But for the most part, all of the students have decided to continue paying. And then, we're going to figure it out as far as contracts at the end of the contract, so on and so forth. But luckily, we have a community that trusts us and, knows that we're going to have them in their best interest when we return. So with that being said, we are offering pre-recorded classes. Some are kind of like how Steven said. I actually went away from the pre-recorded and started to do live because I found myself in a 45-minute to a 60-minute class recording and editing for 2 hours. And I was like, this is crazy. Why am I doing this? So I do 2 pre-recorded classes a week, and then the rest I do live. I have 2 other instructors and they have both chosen to do pre-recorded. And we have found that our students are loving the mix of both. So yeah, that's kind of where we are.
Yeah. Great.
So I found it really, I'm Misty, by the way. I'm in Minnesota and I have a small studio as well. We didn't change any fees. I sent out an email letting people know I don't have contracts. So I sent out an email just letting people know if anybody needed or wanted to stop their auto pay, they can. I also said I really appreciate their support. We've lost 2, but we've gained a few because we're a big tourist town. So we have a lot of people coming from, different cities that summer here or come for the weekend. So we've had a few join, which is nice. And we only do the unlimited, or I shouldn't say that, we offer the drop-in rate as well. I think some of you have Tula, so you've seen it's really super easy to integrate the broadcasting views with Tula. So I don't have to worry about sending Zoom links because it's integrated right into our calendar that they sign up on. So that's made it really easy. And then what we've done is with our classes, we teach them live, most of them. There's a couple of people who have really unreliable internet because we really do live in the sticks. And those people have chosen to pre-record their class. And then I just put the YouTube link on our calendar. So when people sign up for that class, they can click on the link just like any other class, and they just get a pre-recorded and they know that in advance. However, with our live stream classes, they all use my Zoom credentials to log in. And every class that they teach is recorded automatically. And then I turn it into a YouTube link and created a YouTube page. And then any of our unlimited members that missed the class for the day, at the end of the day, I'll go back and like send out emails to anybody who's asked for that class for the day.
Cool.
And that's worked well for me. And I just let people know that, you know, they might not get that class from the day until 10 at night because I'm only going to do it once a day. But everybody seems really happy, and the majority of our people are doing it live. I shouldn't say the majority of people. The majority of people aren't doing anything right now. But I did take some of the advice from people here, and I just created a stay-at-home challenge. So hope that sparked a little bit of, you know, interest in kind of getting them motivated to get up and join us again. So.
Yeah,
So
go ahead, Nicole. Then I want to share something.
No, go right ahead. I was gonna.
It's like I want to. I love that everybody's a yogi on this call, and I'm a yogi first. I mean, I'm a yogi first. I got to do my own practice. I got to like do this for my mind. I've been doing this for years, since I was 11 years old. I'm 62 now. I've been doing it 50 years. I started in 1968, and I'm a yogi first, but I'm a business person right after that. Right after that. So we've had our studio 18 years, my wife and I. In 2011, we switched everybody to W-2s because I'm also in the employment business. And I knew the risk of having independent contractors, but you're trying to direct them, and state of California where I am, it's, so we made them all employees, and we gave them, free things. We pay them a per class rate. We don't pay them hourly, we pay them per class rate. 35 is the starting rate. And, of the 50 classes we had a week, my wife and I taught 25, and the other 20 teachers taught 25. We'd have one teacher teaching one teacher wouldn't. So when this thing went down, I love these teachers. They all went off payroll. Okay. They were getting 25, 30, 70 bucks a week. I had to let them go because we closed the studio, no classes. That's just business. However, we gave them the benefit of getting all of our free classes. And a lot of them are doing classes. A lot of them had other jobs because they weren't full-time yoga teachers in essence. And the other part of the, and the other part of the business, I heard some things like, how do I get the support of our community without being tacky? I just want to share my screen, some of the things that we're doing, and, kind of an open book. This is actually our Vimeo page right here. Okay. And every day, as far as recording a class, I use Zoom just like I do now. I put it up in the studio. You're looking at my studio in the virtual background, have the lights. I hit record and I say, hi, everybody. It's Wednesday the 15th. It's 10:15. Here's what we're going to do today. And I teach to the camera, and people know me. And right now we've got, one day, 13 hours. We've got 37 hours. There's 30 classes. Every day there's a different class. And all of the unlimited students, ours is 89, they get this for free. If you keep your 89 that we have charging through Mind Body, I give them a VIP code. They get this for free, and they have a catalog, and they can just look at a class. I want to do back bends today. They go to the back bend class. They go to the restorative class. They go whatever. So it gives them the flexibility to take it when they want. I also have a rental price per video, $2.99 if they just want to watch a video for a day.
That's cool.
Or a per video price that they can own it. Now, look at the comments. I got 111 comments, and they're all great comments. And I use that in my marketing. I use ZenRes for my marketing. Here's my marketing for this. As part of keeping the community, it's all, I push the value of yoga now more than ever. So I got an email list of 6,000. I'm getting 25% open rate. I'm getting 1,500 people open. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about them. These are students. This is the new normal. pictures from the home front. There's a guy who learned headstand on our video. Here's a gal doing yoga in Mexico with her friends. Here's somebody who got her husband doing yoga watching our stupid videos, right? And so here's a guy doing video with his cats on his iPad. Send us a picture of you. So remember when like Facebook first came out, you'd have people posting pictures of them. It's like, I want to flood the good vibe. I want to flood the good vibe and keep that going. The other part of the business is I'm just not paying anything. I went to my landlord and I said, what do you want to do? And he goes, pay half rent this month. I don't know, next month. Great. You know, and I'm really talking to all the local studios in the area and saying, how much of your space are you going to cut when we come back? And a lot of them are saying a lot. So I'm really considering in my local area, and most of the studios in our area, I've helped start. They're students of ours that have opened their own studio, right? And we're in the San Francisco Bay Area. So we're looking at maybe co-oping the studio and really consolidating how we offer in-person classes when we come back. And really having like, it's not worth our time, or it doesn't pay the rent in the space to have a class with less than 15, 20 people in it, does it? Why pay rent for 5 people and then have the studio empty the rest of the time? So it's actually kind of a blessing in disguise. Now, what's happened, we went from 200 people on an unlimited monthly and 400 people coming in a week to now I only have 130 people that are watching the videos. 130 people. So I've lost 45% of my paid membership, but I've retained that, and the community is really strong. Now, we've been fortunate, we've been in business a while, so, you know, they've known us. But the other thing that happened, and I'll stop with this, is by reaching out on my email list and doing some email marketing, I recaptured people that are in Nebraska and New Jersey and Nevada that moved away, that they go, oh, I'm so glad you have an online opportunity now, right? So it's good. You know, people are watching the videos that didn't come to the studio for 2, 3, 4 years. So yogi first, business person, really close second. You got to be, right, Nicole?
Right. I mean, I always joke that if I just wanted to run a business, I would have chosen something a lot more lucrative than this.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think Jim mentioned is, you know, about how like he just had to lay off a lot of his staff, and
Everybody.
okay, so he laid off everybody. I had 14 instructors. I'm down to 6, just because I feel like my time is better spent doing other things. But I am teaching more than I was before, just to save the money, and that's the truth. But you know, with all the businesses I've ever worked with, payroll has always been this out of control beast of a number. And I'm using this opportunity to come back with a schedule that's bare bones. You know, I might have to even adjust teacher pay for a little while. You know, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but if there were ever an opportunity to finally like take an axe to payroll and get it to where it needs to be, this is it. And your teachers, like Jim said, it's just business, but they'll understand, I think, why you're making the decision that you are. So,
well, and an axe to the space and to the rent. I've got 6,000 square feet in 2 studios. When we open back up, I'm probably going to have 2,000 square feet in 1 studio and probably do just as much business because I'm going to maintain this online revenue and then just add back on the
for me, payroll is like 4 times the rent. So
can you elaborate on cutting your space down a little bit? How are you going to cut your square footage down in your space? Are you going to invite other tenants in there, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, there's a couple different things we're looking at. First of all, the configuration of our retail space, we could actually let part of it go, and it could be another retail. We can give it back to the landlord, and he can rent it. Because when we first opened, we had 1 studio, and then another space became available, and we grew into it.
Expanded, okay.
Grow back out. But also, as I mentioned, I'm talking to 1, 2, 3 other studio owners in the area and saying, what are you going to do? How long are you going to keep your space? When are you going to cut loose? There's one gal who opened a studio 8 years ago. She went through our teacher training, our 200-hour. our 300 hour, opened her own studio. She's ready to let it go and come back and just teach. We don't teach vinyasa. She wants to teach the whole vinyasa curriculum. And we can do all that. We can still have 30 classes in one studio, right? 30 classes a week, even 40, depending upon the times. Right now we have 50 classes in 2 studios, and one studio, the smaller one, is what I call dark. There's nobody in, when we were in person, it's dark a lot of the time. There's time where it's empty and nothing's going on. And that's money down the drain, right? Because you're paying for rent and there's nobody in the studio and it's empty. I'm not doing that anymore. No thanks. No thanks. In fact, right now, with 130 paying 89 a month and doing online, I could easily not open a studio again, right?
Yeah.
Just do this. But I like the community. And I think that the idea of doing for us, and again, there's no wrong way, for us, me doing the live, what was hard doing the live, I tried doing the live, it's like, there was really no value in me seeing them because of the lighting. I couldn't really make adjustments or tell if somebody was doing a post. It's so hard to look at somebody through the camera that wasn't of value. It was nice for the students. They could say, hi, it's good to see you, good to see you. We've decided to just do Zoom community gatherings like this and do, educational meditation, philosophy trainings on yoga in this type of format live, because then people can see each other and talk and chat. But the class, we're committed to just pushing out pre-recorded, because they know us and it's same day. We can talk about, hey, it's sunny today, it rained today, happy Easter, day after day after day after day, every day. And by the way, Stephen, I do a 50-minute class. It takes me 57 minutes to record it. I don't edit it. It's just start and stop.
Me neither.
And then it uploads into Vimeo, and that takes 15 minutes, but I don't do anything. I press the button and then it's there. So it's literally an hour to do the online class and I'm done for the day, instead of having to teach where before I was teaching 3-4 classes a day. So I actually have more time, and the student isn't feeling any impact of they're not getting a daily class. They're getting a fresh class every day.
What about the part of the members in your community who might have enjoyed taking other teachers' classes besides you and your wife?
Yeah, the thing was, that's a good question. We looked at the analytics of the 500 to 600 people that were coming in a week. 60% of them were coming to us, even though we were only teaching 40% of the class. So like attendance in class, our average class size was 20, 25, 30 people. Other teachers was 6 and 8. Because they were new teachers and they were learning. They'd just gone through our teaching training program. So they didn't really have the quote unquote following, and we have great relationships with all the teachers still. And when we open back up, they'll come back, maybe not all of them, right? And some are doing their own thing. And, most of them had another job, or they were, they did other stuff besides, teaching 1 or 2 yoga classes a day. So it's like, it didn't really, I don't think we lost but maybe 20 people at most, because, Shirley wasn't teaching.
I can answer that question a little bit differently, I think, because for the last 4 years, I've been doing everything in my power to teach less yoga.
Right.
So, I've gotten my studio to the point where I only teach 2 out of 24 classes a week. So there are a lot of students who practice in my studio who don't even know who I am, which it works for me. So when I was making a decision about how much I could afford to pay the teachers, is that the question? It's based on, what my ideal payroll is. So one of the reasons why I chose to do just an unlimited flat rate for the classes is so that I could see exactly what came in and then figure out what 30% of that is. Like, I don't ever want to see my payroll over 30% of my revenues. So I figured out what that looked like and then divided it by the number of classes I had, figured out how many classes I had to teach myself to get the number to an acceptable rate for my teachers. And that's sort of how I figured it out. So it's not just me teaching online, but I've still managed to keep the costs under control. if that
Something
helps.
else that we offer that has been pretty successful is donations. So we don't advertise it. However, if they, if they click and they go to the website and they decide that they're even interested in taking the class, upon going to pay for it, there's like a little, little note at the bottom that says, hey, if you've been affected by COVID-19 and you can't afford to pay the above cost, click here and then you can just make your own donation.
That's
And
awesome.
that, I didn't think that was going to be successful, but people are actually donating more than what we are asking for either the class or the membership. And one way that I've been able, and again, I only have 2 instructors now. So one way that I've been able to pay them is all of the money that's come in from donations has actually covered the payroll for them.
That's awesome.
So just a little suggestion if you guys haven't tried that. It works out really effing well.
Here's an idea for new business. I'm taking our online and I'm taking a Vimeo promo code VIP link and I'm taking it over to the Chamber of Commerce here in Pleasanton and saying, we're willing to give a free week of our recorded videos to any chamber member. You just have it. Doesn't cost me anything to do that. And you can promote it as it's the chamber's way of bringing peace and serenity during this time of fucked upness. I said the F-bomb, right? It's peace and serenity during this time of craziness. I'll just give it to the chamber. But it's for a week. It's for a limited time. Free yoga. Because here's the thing. If people are out there looking for yoga, right? They're sitting at home. They're done watching Netflix and tiger stuff and exotic animals. I want them turning their eyeballs to my video, not somebody else's. So I'm willing to give them that gift of free yoga to find your serenity, and they can see what me and my wife are about. And they may not connect with us. They might like Shirley that we had to let go, right? But if I got them looking at us and they look at it for a week and they like it, and of course I have to get their email for them to get the free yoga. And so now I can market to them. And so now, we have to realize this is the way we're going to be doing our business now. It's not going to be handing out flyers at the farmer's market anymore.
Landon is saying he gave pre-recorded video classes to healthcare professionals, which I think is
Perfect.
really cool. I heard another studio was doing like adopt a healthcare professional. So they had members purchase a membership to gift to a nurse or doctor or first responder, which I thought was, of course, beautiful, but also really great PR, right? To be doing something like that. So
we got to be the leader, right? We got to be the one.
Right.
The only way the community is going to support us is if we give them something worthy of their support.
Yep, that's right.
We're doing one for the local school teachers for our county, like that.
So cool.
We had like 6 people sign up for it like immediately, so that was a good sign.
Anybody else doing like some cool giveaways or supporting professionals? Or
How many people raise their hands would like another call like this?
No, I think it's great. Yeah,
I think this is a great call. I've actually got hooked up with, I graduated from the sales program at the University of Houston. And so I reached out to some of the directors from that program, and they told me that there were some international students at the university that were having a hard time with this isolation period, and could really use some of the benefits that yoga provides. Because I already had that relationship built up, I worked out a deal with them to where they purchased a 5-week bundle for me, where every Thursday at 5 p.m. I teach some of the students at the business college at U of H. I just go through a 1-hour yoga session with them through Zoom, through the same platform. So that's worked out well for me. That's been a little bit of extra income. And then I provided a promo code to all of my alumni members that have graduated from that program in the past. And by now, they've all gone on to work with some pretty good companies around the nation. And I actually ended up picking up a couple additional corporate partners as well, where we've been able to teach yoga to some of their workforce that's working from home now also. So I'm still working on picking up more corporate clients as we move forward. That's pretty much been one way in which I'm trying to pivot.
Really cool.
Hey, we're about a half hour into this, and I just want to say, and I want to hand it over to Nicole. It's like, there's moments like this where you feel like this sense of community. You see all the faces if you're in gallery view, and you're all excited and you're all inspired. And it's like, okay, I can do this. and then the next moment, a tsunami of fear hits you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Right? It's like, oh. So I just want to say, and I know Nicole too, Nicole and I are available. You know, we have our own private coaching businesses. You know how to get a hold of us. So we're available for that if you could talk. But if people want, you know, we're also busy too. Nicole and I are willing to like host these on a semi-regular basis. I don't know if it'd be every other week or once a week, but how do you feel about that, Nicole? I'll hand it back to you to wrap.
Yeah, definitely reach out if there's a subject in particular. You know, we can start to create these meetings with a little bit more structure. If you want to do like I see somebody saying they want Jim to do the Vimeo tutorial, you know, let us know, right? Like we can spend a half an hour talking about the online studio setup, or we can spend, you know, a half an hour talking about pricing or whatever it is that you want to focus on. Oop.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's mine. Hey, just to share one thing on the video. Sorry, I showed you my email. Just want to show you last 30 days what it's produced.
So cool.
This is this is the analytics on Vimeo. This is my sales for the last 30 days, $7,000.
Yeah,
And these
nice.
are the views, you know, 121 views. So I got 150 people taking classes every day, right? That's the on-demand place every day.
So does that include your regular like EFT or is that only your, okay.
That's in
I didn't know if that was like in addition. Oh, that's in addition.
That's in addition to my
All right,
mind
now
body.
I'm sold.
That's in addition because the 89, the email that I have online videos went out to 6,000 people on an email list, 1,200 people opened, right? And the people that were already members that were 89, I had them reach to me and I say, I'll give you a promo code so you can get it for free. And I maintained 120 of those. But then I sold another 50, right, at 89. And then now I got 3,000, 4,000 a month coming in. It's good stuff.
Yeah, our online definitely went up. I don't know the exact numbers right now, but we got 12 additional students just for online. And almost every single one of them reached out and said that they would never try yoga unless they were able to do it in this way. So, you know, and they're asking if we're going to continue to do this after all this is over. So I'm not really sure what that even looks like, but, you know, people are interested in continuing this. So
Maybe.
it's really,
the answer is maybe, right?
the answer is like a huge maybe. I don't even know what I'm doing in like 2 hours, so I don't know what's going to happen.
If I could request that you do a call on explaining Jim and the Zoom Res, or is that what you called it?
Zenres.
Yeah, and Vimeo. I mean, okay, I'm 50 years old. I really am not very good at technology.
I had a technology breakdown yesterday.
Okay, I would love you to explain technology to me.
I cried.
So
you got to survive. We can do that.
Yeah, we are using Facebook Live. We have a private page that we invite members to. They pay a monthly unlimited fee to come to that private Facebook page. We do our classes live, no editing, hit the button, it's live. We do one class a day, 6 days a week, and then they're up to view later. And we've done pretty well. We're able to cover our rent, which I was surprised. And we have students that have never come to our studio that are on this private group. So that's great. But I was looking at making the switch to Zoom, and then, you know, all the stuff came out about the problems with security and with Zoom. And, you know, I was just on a family call over the Easter holiday, and several of my family members refused to get on a Zoom call because of security and breaches. And there was something on the yoga studio owners page today about a gal that said her husband's computer was hacked after a Zoom call. So I have some real concerns about Zoom. I don't know if anybody else does. You know, what Is that what everybody's
They
using?
have
or-
the waiting room feature right now. Like if you're really concerned about that, where you have to admit people, so you can actually see who they are, and it says, okay, you know, so and so is waiting to get into the meeting, and you can confirm or deny if you're really worried about it. Just this morning in my Zoom class, I gave someone the boot that I didn't recognize. I was like, if they, you know, if they really want to get in, they'll send me an email, and you know, I had no idea who it was. So it's not such a nightmare to manage, I don't think. I don't think that's a reason not to use.
No, I have over, I don't know what we have at this point, but I think we're at 75 classes a week. We've been doing this now for over a month. We've had no security issues whatsoever. If you're not posting it live anywhere, like don't share that link on your Instagram, your Facebook, anywhere. It only gets emailed to the people who are signed up for that class and invited to that class. We've had
We lost you.
Oh, good. I was hoping it wasn't just me.
Ah.
If I could add a word. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Elena.
Hi.
I'm halfway working around here. I'm sewing, so you're wondering what she's doing back here. So I looked into Vimeo, or Vimeo, however you pronounce it. It was just another added cost. I like that Jim said he didn't enjoy teaching on Zoom because I couldn't stand it. I mean, I couldn't see any people and the adjustment, and then having to like verbally call them out, like, hey, me on top of, you know, stack your joints. And it was just really awkward. So I've been just, I do a couple Facebook Lives just for people that want a free video, but I tape off of my website, which is Wix. And I have the same capability that Jim has where I can rent out the movie. I can rent it out, or they can just view it. I don't allow downloads, and they have to ask for access before they can get the video. So I can kind of see who's asking to view on it. So just through a Wix site, I just use the site through it, and I don't get the analytics like Jim just showed on it. I don't really know what videos are being watched, which really bothers me. But when I can afford it, maybe I too will go to that Vimeo.
Hey, let's, we're 40 minutes into this, and I think Nicole and I set like 30. Why don't we take a pause? Pause here. And Nicole and I will look at our schedule and see when we might come back on with everybody. And in the meantime, if everybody has Nicole's email address, you know, you can get me on Facebook and you private message me, you have me, and I'll give you my email. Write us what you want to talk about, and then we can create like a agenda for the next call. And if you want training, we could do a training, we could do whatever, you know, and if you want to talk to an individual. How's that sound?
Works for me.
Sound good?
All right.
Great.
Thanks so much, everyone. I will.
Thank you.
I'm inspired.
If you, I know.
Thank you so much.
Like a breath of fresh air to just be around other people for 40 minutes or so. So really, please reach out if there's something you want to hear about. We'll try to, you know, structure these a little bit better. But this is really nice.
And if you're an expert in an area, if you feel you got it, you can present, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're not the
open forum.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
I never want to be an expert. Always learning. Always learning. Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye.
I know, I'm just
Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bring the dogs.